Hello and welcome back to another full circle angling episode. Today we are bass fishing. Second session of the year locally. The conditions are pretty different to last time. First time I fished, it was flat calm, gin clear, didn't get a touch. Always find that I struggle during those conditions. Today I've come down, I'd say there's maybe a 2-foot swell. There's a lot of colour in the water. I do always feel a bit more confident when there's a bit of movement. I feel it stirs the bottom up a little bit and gives the bass, sort of brings them onto the feed a bit more. The issue I've got today, I've already had a couple of casts with this, which is a Savage Gear gravity stick. That's the pulse tail. Don't know if you can see, I've put the little tungsten weight in the tail. I've also been fishing it with a lead belly. The problem is with these that I'm finding when there's a bit of movement that they have a tendency to get pushed around by the surf. So I'm going to switch to a plug, which I'm hoping I can control a bit better and grip into the water, into the surf a bit. This particular plug is a Tackle House Feed Shallow 105 in the sort of pearl white colour, and it's got an ever so slight hint of the cotton candy pattern to it. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to get it out into that surf because I do like these sort of conditions where there's plenty of surf, plenty of movement. You can see a little bit of fizzy water and stuff. I think it oxygenates the water and brings the fish in. There's not a lot of bird life activity. It's 2nd of June. It's still, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just today, but the last few times I've been down the coast, there hasn't been a lot of bird activity, which might suggest there aren't any sand eels about yet, but we'll give it a crack. I've got another hour or so till high water, and then I'm probably going to call it after that. Got the plug on, let's give it a crack. I feel like I can control that lure a lot better than that soft plastic. I feel it just working away. There's a lot of weed in the water. Each cast you want to be taking that off because that will impede the action of the lure, and as soon as that happens you've got no chance. I do like these feed shallow lures. Use the 128, which is an absolutely terrific lure. The slight problem with it though, in my view, is that it's not the world's best caster, and I do find these smaller 105s cast a lot better. Now there's quite a lot of colour in the water, but to be honest, I'm not massively put off by that, has to be said. Obviously if it's completely chocolatey coloured, you're fish aren't going to be able to see anything, but when it's like this, it's cloudy, but I sometimes find that's a little bit better. I don't know if it gives the bass a bit more confidence to come closer in, particularly during daylight hours. That was a bigger one there. So what I like to try and do, I like to try and cast my lure between the sets of breakers, the sets of waves, because I just feel that if there's going to be a fish, that's where it's going to come in. The ground I'm fishing over here is just really, really rocky, sharp, broken boulders covered in ragweed. But I do feel that if there's going to be a fish there, it's more likely to be in these sort of conditions. Just get out of the way of that. It's quite overcast today, which I think always helps. Always imagine it. Weed. Always imagine that if there's a fish staring directly up into bright sunshine, there's a bit more glare for it. It probably doesn't really want to do that, whereas if there's a bit of, if it's quite overcast and it's a bit darker. I do feel that that helps, and of course anybody that's a regular bass fisherman will obviously know fishing into darkness and fishing at night is a good time. Well, as you can see, I'm nice and soaking wet from those waves. And you're bass fishing as well, you want to reel in all the way to your rod tip. Because quite often you follow the lure right the way in to the shallows and then nail it. I don't know if that's just their instinct, as that's how they typically hunt, or chase their prey into shallower water where they're more vulnerable and easy to pick off. But they do seem to do that with lures, I've noticed. Whenever I've caught bass, particularly in the northeast, I'd say all of them have probably been caught in less than 4 foot of water. As soon as you go a little bit deeper, I just tend to, I don't know, I think it's just the nature of a bass being an ambush predator. If you imagine the shallows and the surf and everything getting stirred up and crashed about, it's going to panic a lot of the smaller fish and shrimps or whatever. And I think that's where they like to be, in the shallow bit, in amongst all the movement, all the action. Oh! That was either something definitely just happened there. I don't know if that was all a little bit too much for me to take in this hangover state. Right, last chance saloon. I can see a few of the heads of these rocks starting to pop up now, so I'm gonna have to be careful. The tide's flying out. Now or never. Now or never. It's getting me right where I want to be. Oh yes! We've got a fish! We've got a fish! Woohoo! Yeah, he's jagging away. He's not a bad one. He's not a bad one. Right, I've got to be a little bit careful. He's taking us right round to the right here. Now this is always the nervy bit. He's not a bad fish. He is not a bad fish. Right, just need to get him up. Yes! Hey, he is not a bad fish at all. Well, people, I've just secured my first northeast bass of the year on the Nabarone. Tide's going out. I'm guessing he's maybe 2 1/4, you might push 2 1/2. Give us a cracking fight. My heart is racing, particularly with this hangover. But I am absolutely buzzing about that. There he is, lovely cavernous mouth, absolutely superb condition fish. Another little tip with bass, you can see spines up here are very, very sharp, like needles, and he's also got them on his gills as well. So if you just get your thumb in his mouth and down one side, you can get a good grip, you're not harming him, support him underneath, and he'll not do you any damage. Let's get him back. Over the moon with that. Let's get him. He's away. Yes. Well, to say I'm pleased with that is an understatement, I can tell you. I've been waffling on all afternoon saying about how good these conditions look. And sure enough, there's a fish out there. God, my heart's racing. Whew. Not doing this hangover any good, all the excitement. God, I'm shaking, absolutely buzzing with adrenaline off that. That's what bass fishing does for you. If you're just learning bass fishing, just taking it up, don't be scared to fish in really shallow areas, because more often than not, that's exactly where the fish are, particularly in these conditions, as I keep saying. Well, that perseverance paid off in the end, and I am absolutely thrilled about that. And as I was saying before, if you can just get in on the behind those breakers, because that's where they'll be coming in, following them in, using the breakers to their advantage, and then just smashing into any bait fish that are there. I'm just starting to see the tops of all the ragweed starting to show, so I need to be a wee bit careful. God, my heart's still racing off that. Right, that's me done. Well, that's the end of the session. Got that bass, really pleased with it. Off the mark for the year. I'll definitely be back down to give it a shot. Hope you've enjoyed watching. We've hit the milestone of, we've exceeded 100 subscribers, which for a lot of people is a complete drop in the ocean, but for us it's the first milestone. So as always, thank you to everybody that has subscribed and everybody that watches it. Gary and I really do appreciate it, so thank you very much. So that's all from me. Until the next time, cheers and tight lines.